Hello you guys, baby is taking a nap, so I thought I would just come on here and do a little video and talk to you guys about the transition that I had with my baby from breastfeeding to regular milk and how it went. So just keep on watching. My breastfeeding journey was amazing. Obviously it had its ups and downs. One day I was like, oh my god, I'm done with this, y el siguiente día I'll be like, I'm so glad I'm able to do this. And in the beginning I think it wasn't hard. I remember I was in the hospital and I knew I wanted to breastfeed. I think that helped a lot, going with positive mentality that okay, I'm gonna do this. If you're not gonna do that, like if you're not gonna do it, it's okay too. Just know what you want. And if you're open to like, oh, maybe he latches, then I'll do it, maybe I won't, but if you're like sure that you're gonna do it, and if you're gonna try it, just go with a positive mind. So that's what I did. I went with a positive mind. I remember my suegra, she brought me a atole de pinole, so that helped a lot para que la leche se bajara y cuando llegara a la casa pues ya tuviera leche. Me estuve en el hospital 2 días y me acuerdo que my baby se me pegó right away y ya estaba sacando el colostrum, I think it's called. So ya lo estaba sacando and I'm like, is he already like eating? And the nurse was like, yeah, he's already eating. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. And I remember the first 2 days no me dolió para nada, and I'm like, why do women be complaining about this? Like, I'm like, this is not painful at all. Because I remember me decían mis tías, I'm like, oh, like hasta le sale sangre de your breast, because of how painful it is. But for me it was like a piece of cake, so I was like, this is amazing. And then I got home and I want to say y me bajó la leche and my boobs were huge, but I loved it. I'm like, this is like getting a boob job. Like I just love my breast when they were full of milk. And then I remember I started also drinking pastillas de levadura que me trajo mi mamá de México, y luego también me tomé un té que es té de Selvilla, es sage tea, and that helped a lot a desinflamarme la panza al postpartum, y luego también me ayudó para que no se me cortara la leche porque I wanted to breastfeed. So I didn't really pump in the beginning because I was like, for what? Like, I just didn't know much of it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna breastfeed. That was so easy for me and convenient, especially at night. I just put him in his bassinet. Whenever he was hungry, I would just like put him on our bed, and I would just breastfeed and like put him back. That's how it went for like 3 months. And it was a little tough in the beginning for him because he would get a lot of cólicos, and I would try like anything and everything you can think of. I would call my pediatrician, and she'll tell me like, oh, try the gripe water. I even bought a little belt for him on Amazon where his little ombliguito estaba como que salido, y ese belt le ayudó a él para que su ombliguito se metiera para adentro. And we thought because el ombliguito estaba para afuera que por eso like he would cry a lot, but he would just cry for like un periodo and then he'll stop, because I know it was painful for him. And I stopped eating chile and lettuce and ya ves all these things that they tell you, broccoli para que no le diera cólicos. And that's how I got into sweets because I couldn't like eat spicy foods. I would just rely on sweets, and that sucks too. But yeah, so he was doing good after the 3 months. He wasn't having a lot of cólicos, and la leche le caía muy bien, ¿verdad? Pero ya después como towards the 9th month, I remember we would go out and Mijo was more aware, and he would just like pull down my shirt. He would want to latch, y luego se daba la vuelta, y yeah, he would just go away, and then he'll come back, and then I had to like take out my boob again, and I'm like, okay, this is just not working. And most of the time, like, yo lo cuido, so entonces como que whenever, like, let's say mi suegra or my sisters me ayudaban with the baby, I would just like les dejaba la Enfamil Gentle Ease, but it was rare that I would like supplement with the Gentle Ease. So I didn't really find it useful for me to pump because that was annoying too. I would just be in a room by myself pumping, and then whenever like connected to this thing, and then whenever I would be done with it, like Mijo was already hungry, and I was like, okay, well, I don't have no more milk, and it was just not like I guess if you do it from the beginning and you stimulate your boobs since the beginning, then like you would produce more milk. But I was just producing the milk that mi hijo needed, and that's it, you know. And it got overwhelming because like he would just need me every time, and it wasn't even like, oh, he'll just like eat everything he needs to eat and then he'll just go away. No, he would just come, suck for a little bit, and then ya se iba, and then come. I'm like, you're just using me at this point. And then he never really liked the chupon, so he would just use me as a chupon too, and I'm like, I'm not liking this, you know. So that was it. And after the 9 month, I started talking to my suegra, and I would ask my friends, I'm like, what leche did you guys transition to, because I know you're supposed to do it at the 12-year mark. But most of my friends, they're like, oh no, like at 10-11 months we transition to leche nido. And I was so scared to transition to a formula that wasn't available whenever I needed it, because you guys know the shortage of formula right now. So I found the leche nido at Sam's, and it was available all the time. Every time I would go, it was available, so I would just buy a bunch of cans and I would just have them ready. I had the Baby Brisa formula machine, so whenever like I wake up at night, I would just make the formula and give it to him. I mean, it wasn't as easy in the beginning, and I stopped así como de repente paré, porque siempre me decía que paraba poco a poquito, pero como que mi hijo se confundía. He would be like, are you breastfeeding or not? Because he would want to breastfeed también during the day, and I just wanted to do it at night, but it was confusing for him, so I kind of just stopped de repente. And he didn't like las tetas, so I had to switch like diferentes tetas a ver cuál le gustaba. And I finally found one that he liked, and I just stick with that one, you know. Now he likes every teta, but in the beginning, yeah, it was a little tough. But I did that, and my breasts were like so full, they were so painful, so I would just apply cabbage, and I would also just pump whenever I felt like so full, and I would just pump for relief. And then eventually, I think in a week, my milk dried out. I transitioned him into leche nido. It was doing so good. I was so happy. Like, yeah, like I think he went from 75 weight percentile to 95, and I'm like, leche nido is amazing. He's doing great. Like, no le daban cólicos. Like, he would eat. He was like eating a lot. But then I want to say before he was, I think, a year. Yeah, before he was a year. So I started giving him leche nido at 9 months, no, 10 months. Yes, 10 months I stopped breastfeeding. And then towards the I want to say a 12-year mark, we went to Texas Roadhouse, and we started noticing like a week before that Mijo wasn't eating. Something is up, you know. So we went to Texas Roadhouse, and we were eating. Everything was good. He was a little fussy, you know, but I'm like, he's probably just hungry. He didn't want to eat bread. He loves bread. So I was like, there's something up, you know. And cuando me volteo, he just throws up on me, like literally throws all up on me. And I go and change him, and whenever we're back at the table, he throws up on me again, and I'm like, there's definitely something up, you know. And my mom was here, thankfully, so she made him rice water. So throughout the night, no le dimos nada de leche, and he was just drinking rice milk, yeah. And he wasn't throwing up. He didn't have fever. He was fine. It was just, I think, the milk, but I didn't want to accept it because of the simple fact that I didn't want to switch formulas, because he was doing so good. Like, he was gaining weight. It was so nutritious for him, and I was able to find it, and it was just convenient. And like, de cualquier manera que lo pongas, it was convenient. So then I was so opposed to the idea of changing milks, and my husband would tell me, and I'm like, no, he's fine, you know. But I still kept giving him rice water for like that whole day, and then at night I'm like, he probably needs milk, you know. So le volví a dar la leche nido, and he goes to sleep, right? And then the middle of the night, he wakes up crying and crying and crying and crying. He throws up again. I'm like, it's the fucking milk. Like, this is it, it's the milk. So I realized that la leche pues no le estaba cayendo bien, and I called the doctor, and the doctor's like, no es la leche, que no sé qué. And I'm like, yes, it's la leche, you know. I don't know, for some reason my doctor nunca piensa que la leche it's the problem. but I do think it's a problem. And I don't think at that point she knew I was giving him formula, because he's a toddler now, so he's like, he don't need no formula, you know. So I went to the doctor because he was having diarrhea, and he also had constipation. And I went to the doctor, and she told me that he looked good, that he didn't have fever, but I needed to do an x-ray on his little belly just to make sure he wasn't he didn't have, like, he wasn't backed up or had like a ball of like formula just built up in there. So I take him to the x-ray. They do the x-rays on him. Oh, I was crying because I'm like, chiquitito, like, he was just like crying because I had to lay him down. He hates being laid down on the like on a flat surface. When I change his diaper, he gets so mad. So I'm like, I can only imagine like los bebecitos que le tienen que poner like si están enfermitos, o le tienen que poner lentes. Like, I can only imagine la desesperación de los bebés, you know. So we did that, y he quemado que tenía una infección en su poop, and then he had like a ball of like just like poop in his belly, you know. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the reason why he's not eating, and this is the reason of like why he's having all these things. And they give him Miralax, I think it's called, yeah. And he was suppositorios, so like he was able to get everything out, and he's good, you know. And he was able to eat. After they give him that, he was like, agarró el apetito again. He's like, I'm ready, mom. Like, we went to go eat. He was eating bread. Like, todo lo que se le antojaba, he was able to eat now. And I switched him to soy milk. So right now he's doing soy milk, and he's doing so good. Although he still wakes up so many times at night. He'll wake up every 3 hours. And I think because la soy milk no te llena tanto, pero la doctora también me dijo que es innecesario que le des formula to your toddler, porque ya tiene que estar comiendo, ¿verdad? So entonces si le das formula, which is like really heavy and really nutritious for them, like as a baby formula, they're not gonna eat, you know. That was happening with my baby because he was eating the leche nido that has so many nutrients. He was just getting the nutrients from the formula and not actual food. So now that I switched him to soy milk, he'll just have soy milk whenever he has to go nap or like go to sleep, and he'll eat throughout the day. So that's been working for us right now. So hopefully we stick to the soy milk, because I also drink soy milk and I really like it. Yeah, oh my god, I just went on a vent with you guys, and thank you so much for listening. This has been a difficult journey, but it's been amazing. I love being a mom. When people ask me what do, I'm a mom, I'm a realtor, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. Like, I take those titles very serious because they're very difficult to keep up with, you know, but it's possible and it's so rewarding. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.